One of the first transactions Yvon did when he came over was a $2 million apartment house. And the owner was German and the buyer spoke French. So he was like the perfect agent for that deal, you know?
I remember that. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Happy Agent Podcast. I am Jeff Beggins, your host, along with my brother,
Greg Beggins, saying hello from Apollo Beach, Florida.
And we are going to have a little international flair with us today. So we're very excited about this podcast. And we have Yvon Rocca with us from our offices down in the Sarasota Longboat Key area. And Yvon brings a really interesting perspective, I think, because he's not from here. He's got his roots over in Europe. And I wanted him to kind of share his journey about what life was like there, what caused the inspiration to kind of pack up and follow the dreams to come here. And then kind of what the search, how it's evolved and how it keeps evolving for him. So Yvon, I want to welcome you to the podcast. We're very excited to have you on with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me today too. And so my story, I have to think about first. We moved to Florida 9 years ago with my wife and my son. And how we came to Florida, it's a long story. I came first time in the US. Well, I lived in Germany before. I'm born in France, lived in Germany before, in Berlin. And I came to the US the first time in 1980, but it just was for vacation with 3 friends. And later I came back 83 to visit friends here in Bradenton. And from this time, I fall in love with Florida. But I never think about to move over because, well, I was too young, or I don't know. And later on, 89, when I met my wife, we decided to fly to Florida. It was 92 at this time. And well, my wife fell in love in Florida, and especially here, the West Coast. And so I met a person on Longboat Key, which is a good friend of mine now, and we began to work together. We opened a travel agency in Berlin. This was 93. And we began to work with Florida directly with this guy on Longboat Key, later on with some other companies on Anna Maria. And I jumped a little bit because the story will be too long. And then through this guy who was at this time director of the Sarasota CBD, Vision Visitor Bureau, I got a contract with Sarasota CBD and later with the Bradenton CBD. And I represent Manatee and Sarasota in Europe. So beside to my travel agency, my wife worked in a travel agency and I did this job. And the goal of this job was to do travel shows through Europe and contact to a tour operator and try to bring tourists into the area. So
I thought that was fascinating. So the city governments hired travel agents in Europe to promote their local market, their tourist business.
How? Well, at this time it was pretty easy. They didn't ask for special contracts and so. So they just asked me, Yvon, you want to work for us? We can do a little contract between the CDB and I, and that's it. Today, I know it's a little bit more official. And but at this time, it was easy. I came over at the meetings and present my person, present my company, and they decided to give me, it was a year-to-year contract. But I did that for 15, 16 years in a row. So, and
now, Yvon, what was the pitch? Let's go back to those days. So what's the pitch? You're back in Germany now when you go back into Berlin. So what is your pitch to people in Germany about why they should, of all the places in the world, why come over here to West Central Florida?
Well, what is the pitch? I mean, there's such a nice area here, and we know that the Germans, especially Germans, also Europeans are different. I mean, Germans, Austrians, and Swiss love Florida. And we know that there are a lot of owners here from Germany, I don't speak about the UK because I didn't represent the areas in the UK. They had a separate agent there.
Okay.
So yeah, you have a lot of German owners also here, and Swiss and Austrian, I don't know really. So, but just talking about vacation, the Germans love Florida, they love the US, and the tour operator had a big program about the US, about Florida. They have books big like this, the tour operator books with every kind of area in the US. And Florida was, of course, big because of Miami, of Lauderdale, of Orlando, of, not at the beginning when I began to work for them, not really a lot from Tampa and Sarasota and Bradenton. More St. Petersburg Beach, definitely. But we could develop this. It took a couple of years, but we developed then Bradenton, I mean, the islands, Anna Maria Island and Longboat Key and Siesta Key, down to Casey Key and Minnesota Key. So it came slowly, and then almost every tour operator had these islands in the program. So, and for me, that was my goal. I reached that, and we were very happy about that.
That's great. So this is still travel related. This is 93 still in our story, and you haven't even moved here yet. So you're just pretty much being a liaison between friends and people you have here, still with your home base there in Berlin. So how does that start to evolve before you and your wife decide to pack it up and head on over?
Well, my friends, our friends we have here in Florida, they always said, hey, Yvon, Marietta, my wife, come over, move, and say yes, but you know, we have an existence in Berlin, so we have the son is going into school, and the travel agency was running pretty well. And this time, we didn't want really to move. But then about 10 years ago now, on vacation, when we were here again in Bradenton, I mean, on the island, Longboat Key, then, I don't know, it was like a click. We have to move. We were not so very happy anymore with the stress and everything in a big city like Berlin. And then, well, we spoke with a couple of Germans here who moved also to Florida years ago, and then say, okay, let's apply for a visa, a B1, B2 visa, which is a tourist visa, to stay at least 6 months here. And then it goes fast. It was 2010. We decided this. In 2011, we moved to the area.
And now, how old was your son then?
Well, this was the first thing. We asked our son, do you want to move too? Because if he said, no, I don't want to go to the US, we will not do that. But he said, yes, of course, as long as I can play soccer still, I'm ready to move. And he's a very good soccer player, so at this time also. And well, so yeah, so then we have no barrier anymore. So we applied for the visa, we got the visa, and then we sold a condo in Berlin. We came over to the little Sarasota airport with 9 luggages, and yeah, and then we stayed for a while in condo on Longboat Key, and then later in our house.
And just out of curiosity, how old was your son when you moved to the States?
26. He was 17.
17. Okay. So that's very, very, very interesting. All right. So here you are. You packed up. You got nine pieces of luggage. You're sitting at the Sarasota airport, which you had to transfer because there's not a direct Lufthansa from Berlin to Sarasota, or was there at that time?
We came with Delta by Atlanta to Sarasota.
Yeah. So I think we'll get there later, but I think the 2-a-day directs from Frankfurt and direct from Berlin to Tampa really increased the German visitation and travel here recently too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And the German, they love their own airline, so they like to. And then since Lufthansa fly to, well, they stopped now, of course, but flew to Tampa, and then we came. Delta came from Amsterdam to Tampa too now.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry, it's a little bit loud here.
Yeah.
And then we applied for a new visa, an E2 visa, which is an investor visa. And we got our visa pretty fast, and we could stay for 2 years here. And then I met somebody from England who owns several vacation offices on the West Coast, and he was looking for somebody for Bradenton. And so he hired me and promised me to help me to get a green card. And I was very lucky, really lucky about this. And well, it took 2.5 years, and now we got our green card.
Excellent. And you didn't know that person when you were here. That just was a blind faith, followed you on the journey, just helped you along the way there.
Right.
I love it. And so real estate, when does real estate into the equation? When do you say, I'm getting my real estate license? What was the transition there?
Yeah, well, because of course we are on the field here in Florida, so you see everything slowly, how is that working? And as I know that I will not get a lot of retirement money from Germany, I was thinking about to do this license, especially first for later, when slowly going older and maybe have something to do still. And so I did it, and well, it took me 3-4 times to go through the exam, but I made it. And then because of the vacation rental homes and condos, there is a relation with real estate anyway. So and then I began slowly. My boss at this time, he was a broker also, and so I could begin with him to work with him also with real estate.
That's awesome. And then, so you joined us. When did you come over to Century 21? How long ago was it?
6 months ago, I would say.
Yeah.
Beginning of December.
So we've got a kind of a business partner over in Sarasota named Larry Starr, and Larry and Yvon are friends. And Larry knows that our company provides a lot of support, and Yvon was kind of fluttering around in real estate, doing a little bit here and there. And so we had lunch a couple times, and we talked about different things. And I showed him what we did. I sent him our listing presentation today. This is interesting. And so, long story short, we worked out our deal with Larry and got the office situated and all that stuff. And Yvon made the switch. And Yvon is one of these guys that has really engaged. You know, I can see when I'm doing my trainings in the morning who the participants are, and he's plugged into everything. And I think you've got, I know 4 closings so far in the first 6 months of your career with us. Pretty darn good, because you were doing 1 or 2 deals a year. So you're now looking at 10, 12 transactions your first year in real estate. So tell us kind of how that experience has been, because you worked for one of those online companies that didn't really do much, and now you're
right. The last, well, I worked with this guy. His name was Gary, a very nice guy, because I can only thank him every day, every time, because of the green card. But he was in Fort Myers, and I was alone here in Bradenton. So we never did things. I sold a couple of homes, but I didn't have any courses and something like that. So I moved then to a different broker, and this is a cloud broker. So same thing. You can do a lot over internet, but it was not, how I can say that, not personal. The contact was not here, like with you guys. And I can remember when I did the school in Sarasota, the 1-week school before the exam, I can remember the teacher, what he said, try to find a broker who helps you always. Because I understood at this time there are not a lot who are doing the same like you do with your agent.
Right.
So, and I'm happy now.
You should podcast, right?
Right.
All right, so let's talk about your business now, because it's definitely on the upswing, and you've got a really interesting niche. What are you focusing in on right now? Are you tapping into the European buyers? I mean, with all the technologies and tools that we have, I mean, you could go into Remine and find every German absentee owner that has a piece of property and reach out to them and start figuring out the vacation rental. So what kind of niche have you are you finding for yourself? Now, granted, you haven't been doing this forever. You're still feeling your way along, but where are you now, and what's starting to feel comfortable with you and to grow your business?
Well, because I have my license now since 4.5 years now, or something like that. So for me, I had the feeling I lose the first 4 years, you know, because I didn't come forward. So now, from the time I began to work with you guys, was a new beginning for me. And a new world also, because there was a lot of things I didn't know before. I still didn't know, but don't know, but a lot. So it's a beginning again for me. It's a second beginning in the branch. So I was planning a trip to Europe for June now, June, July, but okay, it's not possible. I did some contact in a couple of countries in Europe, Century 21 agents.
Nice.
But now I have to wait a little bit. I don't know when we can fly again. I mean, probably I will try it again in October or November maybe. So I still, all the clients that I had until today, 90% are from Germany. So almost 90%, yeah.
And that's smart, right? I mean, what we noticed, Craig, doing all these different podcasts and interviews, it's about going where you're comfortable and where you're going to be most productive and where you have the most competence and confidence. So if I were you, if I moved over to Berlin, I would naturally seek out every American because we'd have something in common and we'd feel comfortable with each other right away, right? So, and then with the tools that we have right now, I'm excited for you because I know just from my family in Germany, I talk with them a lot, there's some pent up interest on coming here and investing here. And, you know, we still can't fly over here. Most people get September 1st is a scheduled opening to even allow people to travel back here, right? With the travel bans. So right now, nobody's even able to come. So what an opportunity to reach out to all of the people who currently own property, give them an update about what's really going on. Now, for those of you watching, this is the same thing for people that live in Pennsylvania, right? Because they're not able to really do the same thing either, but Yvon's got the ability to really connect out and reach out and connect with these guys. So I'm very excited for your Q4 and Q1 and Q2 and all of 2021 upcoming for you, because you just have a great niche. And we've got a few other German-speaking agents, but very few, right? So you've got the resource for those of you who are watching that have clients that do speak German. I'm sure you'd be more than happy to work with them and refer out as well. And French, you speak French and German, and English there too.
One of the first transactions Yvon did when he came over was a $2 million apartment house. And the owner was German and the buyer spoke French. So he was like the perfect agent for that deal, you know?
I remember that. Yeah, that was definitely, that was right. That was the right time.
Can I tell you something about this deal?
Okay.
It didn't come through at the end.
I know.
But since yesterday, I have the listing now from this property.
There you go.
Yeah. I was always picking, try to, if you put back these properties on the market, I'm here. And he contacted me 2 weeks ago, and now we got the listing. So
it's just like Jeff said, I'm super excited for you. I'm thinking about, you know, different people react to different things in different ways. Some people are scared and some people are excited. So there's a lot of Germans that own property here in the US that are afraid now that they own property in the US, and they're going to want to sell it because they don't like the vacation rental bans. They don't like the inability to travel back and forth, and that could happen again. And there's other people that are going to say, that are German, that say, I want to buy more. Because I called the other day with Ryan Schneider, the president of Realtors, and he said nationwide, there's a movement out of the cities into the suburbs. So there's going to be so much people coming down here. Yeah, and if you can just focus on your niche, Jeff, you mentioned using Remind to find the out-of-town owners. That would be a really smart thing for you to do.
Yeah, and one of the classes, I don't know if you were able to see it today, we ran a really great class with Otis and Thomas about really digging into Remind. So that's something that I know we forwarded out the link to that too. Just another thing, but yeah, take a peek on that. So those who are watching, what I think from an inspiration standpoint is kind of cool that, like in your words, you really started 6 months ago, right? You got a fresh start. You really started this real estate business. So what's possible for you? What are you excited about in your career? Like what makes you happy now? You built a great business. You had a nice life. It's almost like a second life, right? In essence for you over here. So what's the happiness? This is the Happy Agent podcast. What is the definition of happiness and success for Yvon right now for you?
Well, for you and my wife, unfortunately, my son has to go back to Germany because he didn't get the green card, but we're working on it. For us, Florida was always the country we want to live. And we were happy at the first time 9 years ago when we came in Sarasota. And then through the years, we had a couple of ups and downs, but more ups. And we love to live here anyway, in this area. The way of life, everything is completely different and it's easier. People are nice. And, we live only 10 minutes from Anna Maria Island, so it's so nice. And well, now because I'm with you guys, now I want to power more and see what we can make on money, of course, on more money, and then see how can we improve in different way for the business, but also for our life.
What I'm excited about too, I've got a bunch of Century 21 agents that I'm connected with on Facebook from Germany, and I'm sure you do too. And if not, we need to get more, because I see you just kind of being that knowledge broker of trust, right, for everybody in Germany, and to send to you. And I mean, look at all the pre-construction projects we have, all the different locations that we serve, and we've got the hot spots, and we keep growing our footprint throughout the whole state of Florida now. And so we're going to have a really cool opportunity for you to be the receiving end for referrals coming in here too. And the interesting thing is you're going to have as much business come to you as you want. And as we talk about on this podcast a lot, it's all about defining what happiness is for you. So the next steps for you and for your wife are, you get to determine what the next steps are for you guys. If you want to be 1 minute from the beach on Anna Maria, all you need to do is move 9 minutes that way, right? But you're going to need to put an extra couple $100,000 down on something. So then you just kind of figure out what is the path to get an extra couple $100,000, and that rolls into the business plan of what we need to do quarter by quarter. And that's what I'm excited about for you. And for those who are watching, I mean, we just casually just said what I just said, but let's rewind and pause for just a quick second. If we want to just go make another couple $100,000 in the next year or two, we're just going to go make a couple $100,000 extra bucks in the next year or two. How lucky are we to be able to go do that? And I really, really think that all of you watching, you're in real estate, and I think you need to shake yourself a little bit and say, man, are we lucky? I mean, you popped that $2 million deal together. How many of those do you need to put the down payment down to be living right on the beach in Anna Maria? It's not hard.
And now you got the listing.
Yeah, now I got this.
Right.
Which is also true for me because it's commercial, so I need a lot of help too.
Right. But I love it. And I really am, and I'm very impressed with what you've been able to do since coming over with us. We're very, very proud to have you on this team. And Craig always terms it out. It's the collective genius, right? We're benefiting from your business and entrepreneurial experience for your whole life. I mean, you're bringing your French connection, your German connection, your whole family, your sphere, your trust, your ability to just interact and bring more people and trust into the company. And we're proud to have you as part of it. And then you get us to impart everything we've figured out over the years back to you. So it's a great team across that board. So what advice do you have for the agents that are watching that are kind of having another fresh start for themselves and kind of a second kick at that goal? What advice do you have from for them watching?
Working. I mean, take your courses. They contact you if you need help, and then of course, if you don't do anything, you get nothing. So you have to work on it, and then at the end of the tunnel, you will see the light. And this is it's easy to say, maybe not always easy to do, but this is the way, definitely. And then with your help too. Thank you so much.
No, we're thrilled to do that. So what I'm going to do is call Kat, who's your manager down there, and just say we need to get a 9-minute journey. We need to continue your journey a little 9 minutes, a little closer to the west to get you onto the sand, if that's what you want. So it's fun to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. I need to connect with you. Also, we'll do this at another time because my brother-in-law actually is in real estate and he's in the Copeland's area. So I'll make sure that you guys can connect that way too, and just kind of send some people back and forth. And it might be a little conduit for you to do that. So looking forward to it. And that's the other power of the global powerhouse that we have with Century 21. It just creates that comfort anywhere in the world that you are. People just kind of know what we are, and it doesn't hurt.
I discovered that too. That how big Century 21 is worldwide. I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Yvon, we do more transactions outside of the United States than we do inside the United States.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Century 21 closes more transactions outside of the U.S. than they do in the U.S.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
I was in China in December, and they have 6,000 offices in China. We only have 2,400 in the U.S. Look at that.
Yeah, and they're opening. What are they opening? 60 a day or 60 a month or something crazy? Some crazy number over there. It's awesome. But no, we're poised for an amazing time, and I'm excited just to watch your career go and help you in every way that we can. And for those of you who are listening to what Yvon says, it's a work, and figure out what you want,
No,
and then just go.
Dedicated, precise.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And have fun. And have fun, make money. That's the mantra there, though. So Yvon, thank you for taking time with us today, and we really appreciate it. We're very glad to have you on our team. And again, for those of you watching, get to work. Reach out if you need any help with your German clients. Yvon's here to have you. We'll have his contact here posted below.
Thank you for having me. And again, thank you so much for your help.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
One shot, now the future is yours.